Welcome back to Ageless Living. This is Dr. Tong Lee, your host here at Voice America Word Talk Radio, and joined by my co-host,
Kurt Wilhelm, here on Ageless Living. And for those of you who are just tuning into the show for the first time, here you learn how to lead a balanced and beautiful life on the inside and the outside. And we also recommend that you go to Arizona Laser and Skin, their website at azmdlaser.com, and check it out there. You can schedule a free consultation. So give that a try. And in the meantime, we are talking about the 4 or 5 most overused surgeries, unneeded surgeries in many cases here in the U.S.
That's right. We've talked about hysterectomy, episiotomy, angioplasty, and the fourth one we're talking about is heartburn surgeries. You know, apparently a whopping 60 million Americans have heartburn at least once a month.
Wow.
And 16 million of them have daily heartburn.
I think I mentioned this in a previous show, but about 8 years ago, I had heartburn. I was one of the 60, how many have every day?
60 million.
60
well,
million.
the daily ones are 16 million.
16 million.
Yes.
I was one of the 16 million every day, but I actually haven't had heartburn, I'll bet, in about 3 years.
That's
That
right.
includes holidays, eating badly, all that.
So
I just
it can
haven't.
go away. It can. I mean, cure is a very absolute word, but if you don't have it for 10, 8, 20 years, what do you call it? Do
Yeah.
you call it cure?
I think I would say
There you
cure.
go.
I think
So a
I've been
lot of
cured.
things can heal. The body can heal. Diseases can reverse. This includes diabetes and hypertension.
That's great.
So no wonder people are suffering and they want to look for a surgical solution for it. It is a bad feeling. It's a discomfort when you have the acid coming out to your throat, or having chest pain, or bad taste in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, a lot of people are looking for a surgical solution. There's something called Nissen's fundoplication. That's the name of the procedure.
Okay.
That's used to help to tighten the junction between the esophagus, which is the food pipe,
Mm-hmm.
and the stomach. So you tighten that,
Okay.
so the acid doesn't have less of a chance to go
Mhm.
back up to your throat. Now think about it. It mechanically it sounds great, right?
Mhm.
Just like in a car. Unfortunately, our body is not that mechanical. It's somewhat, but it's not quite like a car. This procedure sometimes helps, not always.
If I could draw an analogy, I grew up on a farm and we irrigated, and because we're in Arizona where it's very arid, and so if we wanted to have crops, we had to irrigate. And one of the things that my dad always taught me, and I found out, you know, if I didn't listen to him, that it was just a principle, a natural principle. When the water came flowing down the ditch, and we'd siphon the hoses and put it into the rows. The point is that if you don't give that water a place to go, it will find its own place to go. So you have to work with natural processes in a natural way, or they'll figure out how to do something else.
What a good common sense.
Right.
So this procedure actually wraps a part of the stomach like a pouch
Mhm.
to tighten.
Mhm.
So you can see the pitfall. You know, sometimes they say in a long-term follow-up, there are 40 to 50% of these people who had the procedure will have recurring symptoms that require medication. So
Because
it
that
doesn't-
water flowed, the acid went somewhere, you can't just put it
if you
down in
don't
the stream.
treat the cause,
Yeah.
instead you're just trying to restrict it.
Mhm.
This is what this kind of reminded me of teenager education.
True.
Some of my friends restrict internet access
Uh-huh.
with their teenager children.
Sure.
I don't believe in that.
Mhm.
They'll find a way. They'll find a way to squeeze, to flow,
Mhm.
to where they can find internet. Instead, you want to help them to control themselves.
Yes, very true. And part of that control, which obviously Dr. Lee and I are going to have a little bit of a difference here, because I actually do limit our children, but if using
Well, it's
my
age related too.
well, true, but my point is that using that same analogy with the water is if I just completely cut them off from the internet altogether, they would find a way naturally. They're curious. They're gonna want to figure it out. So they'll go to places that are completely unlimited. If I don't give them good places to go on the internet, so what we've done is the filters where it filter. You're right. They can beat the system. They can game the system
If they want to.
if they want to,
Yeah.
and they kind of know
They
they
may not
can.
want to.
But it just
Yeah.
stops it from finding them. And so then it stops. It protects your kids a little bit, but they know if they wanted to, like on YouTube, we allow YouTube, and they could find all kinds of trash on YouTube if they wanted to. But the point is that because we have given sites that are educational and fun that allow them to enjoy themselves, now we're finding that our sons are becoming computer programmers and very productive people on and creating their own websites and all kinds of things. Whereas if we would have shut down the internet altogether, I think they'd have figured out
You
another way.
can go on with this topic forever.
We
can't
could,
you?
yes. but that's where you and I agree, is that
Yeah.
you've got to give your kids access to positive things too.
Yeah, let it flow.
Mhm.
Yes. So another thing is the surgery does not take the cost away. It doesn't change your dietary or lifestyle choices. Doctors can't do that for you. The
Right.
surgeries can't do that for
No,
you.
they
So
can't.
if you eat things that could constantly cause heartburn, or if you're overweight, you eat the wrong time of the day, you eat and lie down, go to bed, and there's certain things, it's just not good for it. If you don't change that, surgery may not work.
Very true.
So, what do you do? I mean, another thing is in the long term, the pouch can fall back out.
Oh wow.
So it can loosen. I mean, these things happen.
Yeah.
They're not
Very true.
made from metals. They're not, even if they're screwed tight, they can get loose.
Yeah, good point.
Let alone it's just tissue,
Mhm.
slippery tissue.
Also true, which is very, very difficult.
Right.
You're about to give some health tips, because I have a comment after you give the
No,
health
no,
tip.
no. Actually, there are some situations the procedure is still beneficial.
Okay.
There's a condition called Barrett's esophagus. This is a precancerous situation. When people have long-term heartburn, the lower portion of the esophagus can actually have precancerous change,
Okay.
and you don't want that to develop into cancer. And having surgery may be something that's more beneficial.
Makes sense.
So it's all individualized. You want to look into it. It's just don't think it's a simple thing. You can just surgery everything off.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah. So what were you going to say?
Well, I guess two quick things. One is the way I got rid of my heartburn is I just reduced all the calcium intake because I was taking Tums and other things. It was 2 weeks of not very fun because I had heartburn.
You did a cold turkey, right?
Yeah, I did a cold turkey. For 2 weeks I had just pretty bad heartburn, and then I've never had it again incessantly. Maybe, like I said, it's been 3 or 4 years since I've had it, period. And then it was only like once a year, in prior years during holidays when I eat badly. The other thing is just a quote that I saw on Facebook yesterday from one of my friends on Facebook who's into fitness. And her quote was, "Nothing tastes as good as the way I feel from eating well."
It's a choice.
It's a choice. So anyway, that was just a quote I wanted to leave. I think her name was Chandra, is the person who put it out there. So I had to give it the right dues to
Love that one.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we're running out of time.
I think we are.
So we will give the tips for heartburn in our next show. The fifth disease, fifth surgeries that's overused and we may want to avoid it is lower back surgery. We're going to talk about in the next show too. It's such a important subject. Many of us suffer from that. 80% of us at some point experience that. So we're going to make it a whole show about that. So
Excellent.
thank you for tuning in and listening. And this is Dr. Tong Lee with Ageless Living.
Here on Voice America and World Talk Radio, we thank you for all of you tuning in. We couldn't do it without you, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Great, thank you. Appreciate it.